Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I want to talk about Ryan Humiston and why he is trying to kill YouTube fitness. Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. All right, so I was sent this video by another prominent YouTuber, and I'm not going to name names because it really doesn't matter. But it's somebody most of you all love and respect. And we had a brief conversation about it. Ryan Humiston's latest video basically says that progressive overload and compound movements really don't work. The magic is going to come into tweaking form, tweaking angles, trying new things, etc. And one of the points he made was that, lifting heavy isn't sustainable. It really, there's so much to dive into here that my mind is absolutely blown. My mind has exploded. So let's just start. Let's backtrack a little bit. I'm somebody that's been in the industry for a long time. I've worked with anybody you can imagine with, talked with anybody you can imagine with. I've done so many stories, so many transformation stories. People that aren't bodybuilders, aren't super muscle heads, and there's a lot of consistencies you see in these body transformations. Now, when it comes, and one of the key things, and anybody that's packed on a lot of muscle mass, bodybuilders or just basic transformation stories, is that their training, they nailed their training. They focus on the same things, focusing on compound movements. They're focusing on progressive overload. Now, do people make mistakes? Do people make mistakes and beat up their body or do misguided forms of training? Absolutely. And that's why I am here. And that's why you have channels like Greg Doucette's. That's why you have channels like Sean Nalawani, etc. Guys that basically we all agree with the same thing. We all agree how to get from point A to point B. Compound movements are your staple. Compound movements have the greatest opportunity for progressive overload. The problem with Ryan Humiston is that he is speaking to a bunch of people that want to build muscle mass, and he is basically dismantling and mocking and trying to minimize the impact of compound movements and progressive overload to a bunch of people that need compound movements and progressive overload. They're not progressing using, by not progressing. They need to be focused, and they need to be focused on these things as staples. Now, one of the things Ryan does really well is mock what people do wrong and frame that in a way like that's the problem. Like people abusing 1-rep max attempts or abusing dumbbell curls, and like somehow that's the problem. And because they're abusing it, compound movements are bad. There's so much faulty logic in his videos. It's quite sickening. But, watching this stuff, I can't help but think of how many people are going to get off track and spin their wheels and waste so much time. Can compound movements be abusive on the body? Absolutely. Is the average individual to that point? Not even close. The average individual needs to add a lot of strength to get the amount of muscularity they want to get. But does that strength have to be abusive? Does it have to be the strength levels that I was after? No, not necessarily. You can build a lot of strength and still not abuse your bodies. The comments in this video are almost comical. People that have abused their body over the years and their shoulders are shit and their elbows are shit, etc. And we can sit back and try and take that in and say, well, that makes compound movements bad. Then you have somebody like me that's been training. I am 53 years old and I've been training 35 years with compound movements. I've been doing it correctly. I became one of the strongest, real close to setting the over 50 real world record, raw. So I am a good example of the extreme. Sure, I've had a couple injuries over the years. Anybody that does anything physical is going to get injuries. Let's set that straight. But if you do things correctly, if you do compound movements correctly, and that's why this channel exists again, you're going to reduce the likelihood of beating the crap out of your body. One of the things I preach to my clients is safe progress. Safe progress. Practice safe sets. Don't beat your body up and don't do stupid crap. That's a much better approach to help people than saying people get hurt doing stupid crap on compound movements, therefore compound movements are bad. If you want to take his approach, and you don't want to focus on progressive overload, and you don't want to focus on compound movements, your results are going to be absolutely shit. Absolutely shit. And you can argue with me all you want, but I know for a fact, because I know the history of lifting, I know what drives lifting. It's not my personal opinion. You can go analyze it yourself and look at the results of anybody that's built a lot of muscle. I would also guarantee that Ryan did not build his body just doing all the stuff he talks about today. I would almost guarantee it. I would be shocked. It would be the greatest shock of all times if Humiston built his body on anything other than building up his strength or improving his strength over time. I guarantee he has changed his training methods so he is healthier now. Maybe drop the weight a little bit and doing more of this angle stuff and mechanical this, that, and the other pile of horse shit. Because here's the thing. Once you build a lot of muscle, it's very, very easy to maintain. Very easy to maintain. You can do all this fairy tale bullshit that's being preached. You know, just don't focus on compound movements and don't focus on progressive overload, but find that angle on that given day. Just find that angle on that given day and you'll be okay. You'll be okay. And herein lies the problem. Just find that angle on that given day. Go in and find that exercise and do that angle and you'll be okay. You know what? That's the biggest pile of horse shit I've ever heard on YouTube Fitness of all the piles of horse shit. Let me repeat. That is the biggest pile of horse shit, and he speaks about it in his latest video. Some of you aren't going to like it, but it's absolutely true. 100% fact, that's the biggest pile of horse shit. If you go into the gym right now and just try to do a little angly thing and a little nipple twist and a little pinky twirl and all that kind of shit, and you aren't focused on compound movements and progressive overload, you're not going to make shit for progress. You're not going to make shit for progress. And you need to understand that. Now, we move on to the next topic at hand. How do you make compound movement safe? How do you make progressive overload safe? Well, first off, you stop doing stupid shit. You stop testing your max all the time. You stop beating up your body. You learn proper form. 95% of issues in lifting over time come from shit form, and they come from doing stupid shit in the gym. I know, I train people for a living. Trying to fix their form is a huge issue, and I give all my clients credit. We're working together to work on form. Ryan Humiston is sitting there telling people, don't squat heavy, just change the form. Those are his words. Those are his words. He's talking to people that have not mastered squats and deadlifts and bench, and then he's trying to tell people to change the form to get a better feel. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, is this where we've evolved to in YouTube Fitness? You're telling people that have not mastered form, the vast majority of your audience, to just change their form so they get a better feel. They don't have good form to begin with, and all of a sudden they're going to get under bench and try to do all this feely stuff that's reckless and dangerous and one of the most foolish things I've ever heard on YouTube Fitness. You can train compound movement safely. All right. The people I work with, I tell them, look, you don't have to go into the gym and try to bench press 365 every day for the rest of your life, right? You're looking at somebody that used to do that when I was training for a specific goal, and that is a big powerlifting total. I go in now, and my bench press is right back there, and I try to do 225 for 5 sets of 10, 225 for 8 sets of 8, The average lifter could make a goal to do 185 for 5x10, 185 for 8x8. Your strength would be great, okay? You would have improved your progressive overload dramatically. That would lead to a lot of increase in muscle mass, because a compound movement has the opportunity for you to increase your strength dramatically. Where an isolation exercise, you can go into the pinky twist and the nipple twirl and all this kind of happy horse shit, and focus on feeling the nipple while you're twisting the pinky and all this kind of bullshit. You can do that, but if you don't progressively overload, it's not going to do a fucking thing for your musculature. It's not going to lead to muscle gains, no matter what one super champion of the internet is bullshitting you with. So when it comes to compound movements, we need to understand that they can be dangerous. Any form of physical activity can be dangerous. Let's get that straight, especially if you do it over a long period of time. If somebody runs over a long period of time, that can be dangerous if they are abusive. So what we need to understand is that you can increase your strength dramatically over the years, build the muscle you want to build without beating up your body. By working on form, by avoiding reckless random 1-rep max attempts every other week, by avoiding other forms of stupid shit, and use my example. You could get your squat to 275 by 5x10. That's not extremely abusive on the body if your form is good. You can get your bench to 185 by 5x10. That's not extremely abusive on your body, but the strength levels you are building, your approximate 1-rep max, where you've gone from point A to point B, will build a lot of muscle, and it will be safer for the average individual. So, in conclusion, you need to understand that compound movements and progressive overload are the fuel of muscle gains. That, along with consistency. Every lifter in the last 75 years has combined a strong focus on progressive overload, a strong focus on compound movements, and consistency. If you're just going to focus on consistency, you got progressive overload, you got compound movements, and you got consistency. If you take away progressive overload and compound movements, you're left with this, and the person teaching you how to build muscle is basically doing this to you. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.